displayed. He's obviously played so well, but it was a big issue.
What do you know about Temple?
You know, talented team. Guards just score the ball. You know, tough team. You know, similar to Iowa State from the standpoint of 4 guys can bring the ball to the floor and initiate the offense. So it means they're 1 through 4 positions. Really good at attacking off the dribble one-on-one. You know, sometimes you have an advantage when teams, when the play breaks down. Well, in their case, if the play breaks down, they have, you know, 3, really 4 guys that can make one-on-one plays. So really puts pressure on your defense. But I like the way they play. I like how they execute. Experienced guys have been around each other. I like their makeup.
I know you said after the Kennesaw State game that you had told Parker and Christian Guest to be ready to go, and what kind of led you to pull the trigger on putting Christian in there?
Well, I just, you know, you often try to reward a guy for the work that they put in, and I think with him, you know, he's 6'7", he's picked up, you know, 20+ pounds. I think initially just so much to learn because he hadn't been around, but the growth in his weight, and there's still ways to go. Just being in it, live game situations, I think it was great to go against a team like K-State for him. To understand, to be able to play hard, to do tough things, but do it without fouling, you know. But I thought his toughness was there, and I thought he was ready to play from the standpoint, not shying away from competition. No, that's you rarely do situations like that with a guy's first game. But I didn't think he lacked the toughness to play on the floor. I didn't think that at all.
We saw a lot of Ronnie Suggs at times. Are you expecting to add him in?
Oh yes, I think you'll see Ronnie. I think you'll see Ronnie. I mean, just his experience. Ronnie's a good basketball player. I think Ronnie just really the confidence in his shot, in his offensive game consistently. Not that he necessarily lacks it, but just understanding. And just my 2 cents. Walk on is just a label. It's not who you are. I mean, you're part of a team. I think Ronnie has the ability to give more and do more.
Coach, what did you learn about your team in the Virgin Islands?
I think it was a great experience. It's not a lot of turnaround time. I think we had 1 day off after Oregon State, or vice versa. But I think it was not a lot of turnaround time. So give you a chance really to play in games. You know, trust in what we do here on the floor. I thought Kennesaw State was of course you want to win the game. But I thought it was a good game, especially with young guys, new guys, to play a style that'll bog you down somewhat, make you go up multiple things, make you guard cuts, make you go against a lot of screening actions. Then on offense, force you to make 3-point shots, or force you, I mean, you're not going to beat us on the interior, so you have to be able to make shots from the perimeter. I thought older guys stepped up, specifically Kevin and guys that making plays to win a game like that. Because oftentimes you can take for granted the name on the front of the jersey, and then you get out there and play. It's not as easy as you think.
Going into that tournament, had you talked to Jordan more about being more of a presence offensively, or that just kind of happened naturally in those games?
I just think he stepped up because it would have happened. You know, you have talented young guys, but you try to find your way to figure out where you fit in on a team. I think with him, the opportunities present themselves, especially in the Kennesaw State game. We just kind of took over, being more assertive, getting to the free throw line. You know, we shared a lot of notes with the 3 teams that we played against, and we gave them information on what we thought of their team. So it's always beneficial to do that. Now you kind of see what teams say about you. And one thing they said about guys, he has a lot of spirit, plays a lot of toughness, and he did a great job of really his footwork around the rim, a shot face, getting guys off balance, because he is strong enough to be able to make moves and make the next move. And really, really the footwork and the shot face really helped him around the rim, because again, you're defending the guy, you have to be able to play arm's length. Hopefully you don't foul him, but he knows how to use his body, knows how to force the referee in some situations that make calls. And it loosens the defense up. Now, he's not shooting the ball as well as he can shoot the ball. I think that's a plus for us when you get to that point. That's why as X continues to grow, you can play he and guys together. Also with Mark, because now I think guys will be a lot better off the ball because he can do a lot of other things. But I think it's putting a lot of pressure on him when he handles the ball as a point guard.
Cuonzo, is there anything new with KJ Santos and his foot?
He's last couple of days he's worked out, not with the team, but individual skill work, so that's been ramped up. But he's not on the floor with the team yet, but I would imagine that if he stays at the pace he is now here the next week or two, I'd like to think he'd be on the floor.
Coach,
Coach, what's the challenge like? You know, you guys haven't played in over a week. You know, what's it like preparing for a good team when you've been out for so long?
I think the plus in that, I think both teams has probably had the same amount of time off. Maybe they might have played one day after us. I like the part of being off because you get a chance to continue to practice and continue to grow. I think we've made progress there. But I don't necessarily look at it as a challenge because we've been in the weight room 3 days. We skill work, film, and I think those are things that are needed for us. But also to get some guys, try to get guys healthy. So we bought some time there, hopefully.
Temple's a team that plays with really active hands on defense and is really good at generating steals. How do you prepare the younger guys on this team facing a defense like that?
Man, as much as active and as much as we foul in practice, I think they'll be ready for that. No, just I mean, I think that the preparation is in your practice and when you play hard, and we always try to tell our guys you have to make practice as hard as possible. And we do certain things in practice. We overplay guys. We'll do different things to try to simulate that. But you never know when games are live because there's still a level of comfort in practice. But when games are live, you have to go through it and you see it for yourself. Some guys are faster than you think in games. Some guys are taller than you think in games. Some are stronger. It's just, you know, those first five minutes of the game, you feel it and you go from that. But we oftentimes try to make practice as hard as possible to simulate, you know, game situations. But again, when you have real officials out there, certain things you can and cannot do. But we understand their athleticism. Pierre, their point guard, is as good as any as far as his own ball defense. I mean, he was almost a one-man wrecking crew. If you watched the game against VCU, how he brought him back, got steals, got into passing lanes. It's really changed the game for him. Just, I mean, they were down big, and he did a lot of great things to bring them back.
Cuonzo, friend Dunphy also teaches a class at Temple. You know, with the
That's
schedule.
impressive.
I was gonna say, how was that a little more common maybe when you were playing, or has that always been a rarity?
I think it might have been a time before I got to college. I know they talked about it a lot, but I think that's impressive. I really do. So I think there's a lot he can give. I mean, he's done a tremendous job, and of course, I'm at 20, 30 years, so I applaud that.
And so, you know, we talked a lot about Jeremiah, you know, working on the fouling, obviously. How much of his, you know, kind of struggles so far do you think have to do with just the fact that, you know, without Jonte on the floor, that other teams can you know, focus so much of their post defense on him?
I don't know if that's necessarily it because, you know, and it'd be great to have Jonte out there, but I just, in his fouls, it's almost like we have to be able to take the next step. So it's not as if, you know, he's going against a guy in the post that's scoring the ball, and we did a poor job as a staff to send a double team to help him. His fouls, like, man, I don't understand that, you know. So I think it's more him now. There are some, you know, and I'll make certain calls and do what I need to do necessary to help him. As far as I didn't understand this call right here, help me so I can help Jeremiah. But then there's some it just can't happen. Because I think in most cases he take himself out of games in those situations, and it's hard. It puts a strain on our team. Now, the plus about that, I think Reed has made tremendous strides because of that, and it's part of it. But sometimes it's hard to explain. It is.
Coach, what do you think you need to do, you know, to really get the flow of the offense going? It seemed like Jordan really provided a really big spark the last game, but in terms of, you know, it seems like defensively you guys are, I know you always want to improve, but it seems like you really controlled the defense. But offensively, what do you want your group to improve with?
Oh, good question. Just get out and go fast. You know, go fast. And I think the biggest key is playing fast. But you also have to be, we want to be aggressive, but you want to be patient and read the defense. And there are things that they know we do in practice, that these are the opportunities that present themselves. And if not, this is the next thing. But going fast doesn't mean force up a shot or being out of control and turning the ball over. Because I think they want to do well, and that's the great part about it. So it's our job as a staff to put them in position so they can do well, to be shot ready, to be aggressive. You know, at this level, you got to stay away from that baseline unless it's clear. Unless it's wide open, you got to be careful when you drive the baseline. Because teams are too talented, big guys, you get in trouble there. I mean, bigger guys collapse on you. When you're shooting the ball, understanding what we're doing, strong with the basketball, being able to read the defense. Just a lot of little things. But I think really just getting out, going fast, getting the ball off the floor quicker from our point guards. And you're reading the defense, but I think our bigs have to do a better job of running quickly. Because we can pound the ball inside early, we'll do that. And if that doesn't happen, you got your other looks.
It seems like Reed's giving you guys good minutes this year. Just what's the biggest changes with him between this season and last season?
Well, again, he didn't say this, but I would imagine, you know, last year you have, you know, Jeremiah, you have John Tate, he might thought, assume those guys might play in front of me, so now his approach might not be as assertive, even though his body physically is doing the things necessary to be successful in practice, but mentally he might not have been at the level like I'm playing in these games. I think this year, just encouragement from the staff, understanding because he is a good player, and oftentimes you want to hear it, but you need to understand it. And I think it's first and foremost that he understands he's a good player, and I think he is a good player. And I thought it was impressive when he turned around and dunked the ball against K-State. Well, I've seen that before in practice. And when you do those things, teams look at you differently. Because again, he's a good player, he's a very intelligent basketball player. He's probably the most vocal in practice when you can hear it and see it. He really is, because he understands it. And that's the thing I tell him, give him more from that standpoint, because he does have it, and there's a lot he can give to young players.
Cuonzo, you, next time you play out of this state is January 12th. How do you use that as an advantage when you're home for that length of time?
Well, I think it's great. I do, because it gives us time to practice. I think that's the best thing. You always want to try to get better. You're playing games, try to get better. Your home crowd should give you an advantage to win games. When there's tough games, that means you have some quality teams coming here, so you have to be prepared to win those games. Whatever it takes to win those games, your preparation there, giving guys a chance to play. And I think with all players, you play with a different level of confidence in home games. There's a certain level of comfort in home games, but it's still the execution, doing what we need to do. And of course, outside of the basketball, finishing strong in the classroom, so you're not away from campus as much. I think it helps a great deal. But you have to get the job done, because also on the flip side, you can have the wrong comfort in playing at home and get relaxed, and teams coming in and put on a great performance, and they can cost you a ball game. So again, they won't be easy, but I'd rather be here and continue to grow.
That first half against Kansas